Hey, this is Tony Tattoo coming at you in the wonderful Kildares Pub in the deep southwest of Calgary, Alberta, Canada. This is Wide Open YYC. So today I want to talk about traveling to the US as Canadians. And tell you what, I've been on very many wonderful journeys down to our friends down in the US of A. And the only reason most of us travel down in the US is because of the fact that or travel to other countries via the US is because we fucking have to. And the only other things that are attractive to us is places like Florida, California, and most recently for retirees, Phoenix, Arizona. So that's 3 out of 52 states Canadians actually give a shit about. And that's because they have Disney World, Disneyland, and Alice Coopersville in Phoenix, Arizona, which has one of the items on the menu is called, it's a foot-long hot dog called the Big Unit. I can't make that shit up. But anywho, my wife and I had a couple trips down to the States recently. We went to on an Alaskan cruise, and we found that the people in Alaska are kind of like displaced Canadians. And so they were cool. And then we celebrated her birthday in St. Pete's in Florida, and which seemed like it was like a trip back in time with the people there who just crawled out of the Hyde-Ashbury district of San Francisco, and they're all like, hey, groovy baby, everything's fine, you know, and that was kind of cool. But I digress. Let's go back to crossing the border. I mean, you get up that checkpoint and suddenly you feel like a criminal and your brain starts to shut off. And they're like, where are you going? How long are you gonna be there? What's the address of the place you're staying? And I'm like, you feel like you have to make shit up now. And it's like fucking, I'm going to Wyoming, for no particular reason. They're going, well, sir, your ticket says Tampa, Florida. Okay, you got me. All right. So next thing you know, they take you to secondary and you're down there, and all of a sudden you realize that your business partner's down there. And he's up at the pedestal talking to the guard, and then he decides to throw you under the bus. And go, it's his fault, it's all his fault, it's his idea and everything else. I'm coming back and I'm going, what the fuck are you talking about? And anyway, so by that time your morning buzz is gone, and you know, your hangover kicks in, and all of a sudden you can remember shit. And it's like, oh yeah, I'm going here, there, and then so we're gonna be, the address is this, blah, blah, blah. They clear you, they tell you that it's all right, have a great day, sir. And it's like, well, yeah, it's off to a great fucking start already. So now, back to Canada. Coming back is a whole different ball game. So we're coming back across the border, go to the Canadian Border Control. I'm checking over my shoulder to make sure look for where my partner is. He's 5 people behind me. The guy says, hey, you got anything to declare? And I go, emphatically, I go, no. All right, have a great day. So anyway, that's kind of that experience. Now, in entertainment news, and people, I cannot make this stuff up. All right, I saw an article the other day about a woman named Angela Sparrow Large, okay? She was married earlier this year to a spirit, that's a dead person who came back in life, for people who don't know, of a pirate from Haiti who was hanged for looting back in the 1700s. But all good things must come to an end, and she announced on Facebook, where everything is true, of course, we all know that, everything's on Facebook is like, gotta be true, that she was separating from her dearly departed husband, whom she claims is Jack, like in Jack Sparrow. She stated, I feel it's time to let everybody know that my marriage is over. I will explain in due course, but for now, all I want to say is be very careful about dabbling in spirituality. It's something not to mess with. I guess she realized that she would never get a divorce settlement. We have a great show coming up for you, and remember to tell your friends to subscribe to our Wide Open YYC show on YouTube, and join us for the conversation on Facebook, which we are now on, Twitter, and Instagram.
Two, 0. That's the record of Calgary FC so far. I don't think we've lost any game preseason or regular season. We're the best team in the fucking league, and what are you gonna do about it? Nothing.
Oh, it's awesome. Went Wednesday, had a great time. I went a little bit earlier to check things out, and
they get that parking figured out?
there wasn't as many people there. There was I would say there was approximately about 3,000. Midweek game, kind of a 7 o'clock start, probably
A little bit late for the children, but that's okay.
Yeah. But it was good. I had a walk around and checked out the food areas and the drink areas and took a few shots, took a few pics, and it's really cool, really, really good.
Nice.
I was happy with the setup.
One thing I gotta say for this week is when they announced they're gonna do a Canadian Premier League, given our rough and tumble, outdoorsy, hockey, gritty background, that we would take the game of soccer and make it a little bit Canadian. And apparently Winnipeg doesn't want to subscribe to that notion. Apparently Valor FC wants to subscribe to this Italian notion of let's just flop around as much as we can and try to draw as many penalties as we can. I haven't seen that many floppers since it was breast examination day at the old folks' home. Just flopping all over the place.
We had quite a bit of rain that afternoon, so it made the pitch pretty soft. And
well, not as soft as Valor.
No, exactly.
Yeah.
They were the ones going splat.
Yeah.
Many times. It was good. I enjoyed it because there was a lot of hard tackles.
If you don't like what I say, Valor FC, Winnipeg, prove me wrong.
They were good tackles.
Stay on your 2 feet and prove me wrong.
Yeah.
Or keep flopping, and that'll just be your MO. I don't care. It's your problem, not mine.
I have to say, I was there in warm up, and
they were practicing falling over.
Oh my god!
Take the fall, get hurt, act indignant. Was that their mantra?
They almost got a Kazi header.
Oh, I don't even know what the fuck you just said.
Oh my god! They kept hitting the ball into our section. It must have almost hit me about 3 or 4 times.
Oh, being cheeky.
They
think they're throwing it at the chanters.
One more time and you're getting the Kazi header.
So they come out there and they're chucking balls at us and they think they're tough, and then they just want to lay down and lift up their skirts.
Yeah, right? Yeah. What you gonna do?
Tell them to get pissed. Get fucked. Get out of here. That's why you lost. Maybe if you'd played the game like a decent human, you wouldn't have lost. I don't know.
Yeah, but I had a bird's eye view of the goal. Jose Escalante, he could have scored a few times, and eventually, right near the end of the match, he scored a beautiful left-footed free kick in the bottom corner of the net. And
it was nice. It was nice.
So good, so good.
Now that we've recapped Calgary FC, what else have we got going on in the world of foot?
Well, I have to say, I have to give a shout out to my home country of birth, because for the first time ever, a single country has all 4 finalists from England. So we have Liverpool and Tottenham playing in the Champions League final, and then Arsenal and Chelsea playing in the Europa final.
Fuck Chelsea.
Really? I know, you love Chelsea.
I hate Chelsea.
That's my dad's team. That's where he turned professional.
Yeah, and they got that Argentinian chomping bastard on their team who likes to bite people. Fuck that guy. Fuck Chelsea.
What are you talking about?
Yeah, bunch of puffs.
They got some they got some great players.
Find me. I'm in Calgary. Come at me. I don't care.
Oh boy.
Puffs.
Down in Chelsea. Woo! I can't wait for you to meet my daddy.
Well, I respect the man, but all I'm saying is, nowadays, Chelsea.
Okay then. Yeah. So we are playing a away game tomorrow in Hamilton for Jesse, and it's
the armpit of Toronto.
And they are showing the game here at Kildares, 11 a.m. You need to get down here and support our team. And
support our team, and we'll chirp those dirty steelworkers who think they have a place in our nation. Ugh, Hamilton.
And you know what? Next Saturday is the big game against Edmonton.
Oh!
They're calling it El Cacique.
By the way, Edmonton, I'm taking over for a Dan's rant here. Where do you get off? Every city in the world is easy to drive north-south. But Edmonton's like, nah, we're going to make it impossible to get north-south, and we're going to make it easy to drive east-west. And we're going to put our downtown in a corner just to fuck with you. And streets that are in the southeast portion of the town are going to have a northwest address. What the fuck are you thinking? Get your shit together, Edmonton. You and your football team. Fuck ya.
It's gonna be a sellout. Next Saturday, 4 p.m. It's gonna be a sellout. You've gotta come and cheer us on. El Clasico. And when I was there on Wednesday, I did hear a chant. I heard a chant, so I'm gonna try and figure out what our supporters are chanting. And there does seem to be an anthem too, and it has a military feel to it. We'll find out a bit more about that too.
It's not our fault we can't understand what you people are saying.
I know it's okay, we'll figure it out. That's all we got.
Kick the ball!
Dan's on fire. Can you tell? Can you wait for his rant? It's gonna be great.
Catch you next week. We'll see you at the match. I'm in section 202. Come find me and I'll fight you.
I'm in 202 too.
No, you'll back me up.
Of course I will.
Yeah.
Big time.
Yeah.
Oh.
Cut.
Hey, this is Tony Tattoo coming at you in the wonderful Kildares Pub here in the deep southwest of Calgary, Alberta, Canada. And this is Polititalk. And we're going to have Lee here who's going to head the conversation and discussion.
Welcome, guys. Another exciting week in the news here. It looks like our friend Justin Trudeau has been at it again. There was the media was all over Mark Norman, Vice Admiral Mark Norman,
yeah.
Second in command of our military. Why don't you tell our viewers what happened there?
Okay, so apparently what happened was that there was this is the allegation. It was that he leaked information regarding a military contract. And so this happened in 2015, I believe, when Prime Minister came into office and stuff like that. So he's been hanging on a rail since 2015, taken out of his post, pending a trial, which was supposed to happen fairly quickly here, but and there was until a Liberal MP decided to come out and testify against the Liberal government on his behalf, and all of a sudden the charges just went away. They just dropped it because of the fact that they stated that there was not enough evidence to support going to trial, which definitely, if I want to plunge into the future, would have been a huge black eye on the Liberal government because they didn't have enough evidence, and it would have been another, how would you say, lab scam?
Right. It was interesting. The newspaper article that we saw was talking about the similarities between this scandal and the Jody Wilson-Raybould scandal. It seems that anytime anyone gets in Trudeau's way with truth and facts, they are hauled out on the carpet. We can't trust you. Yeah. Dan, what do you think about the allegations?
Just because there's not enough hard evidence to go to trial doesn't necessarily mean that a person is guilty or innocent. Recently, just 2 years ago, I believe it was in Calgary, a man was convicted of killing grandparents and a kid without any bodies, murder weapon, or eyewitnesses. But there was still enough for a jury to convict. What I'm getting at is that we don't necessarily have all of the information to throw out an allegation as serious as leaking information and potentially perjury against a high-ranking military official. There has to be at least some sort of hearsay on enough accreditation to be able to say, well, you did it. And it's like, okay, they called their bluff and they said, well, prove it. So I believe maybe he did it, maybe he didn't. But there was enough for an entire government to say, well, we're going to call your bluff. And then that bluff was called.
Yeah, up until that the Liberal MP was going, you know what, that's bullshit.
Yeah,
I
so-
was there, I know
and-
the facts,
and-
and I'm going to testify against the government.
And that bluff was called. So we had two bluffs being called here. So it's really
That's
hard
true,
to
yeah.
tell which is the real hand. Who's got the real hand here? Does the government have the hand, or does the Second Admiral have the hand? Because two bluffs have been called, and both times people back down.
Right. Well, in this case, I mean, with the Crown halting the prosecution of this now, it seems like that issue's behind us now. The Liberal government, like we spoke about last week, is desperately just trying to change the channels. This is another example of being caught in the crosshairs of the Prime Minister with truth. Whether or not the Vice Admiral was correct or not, I just find it interesting in the political debate that this Prime Minister can't help but get stuck in his version of the law and everyone else's. And we were talking to some people outside, it seems to me, how is this Prime Minister going to get re-elected? What are we bracing ourselves for in the next election? It seems to me that I don't see this Prime Minister getting a single seat, maybe a couple in Vancouver, but west of the prairies, like is he doing anything right?
There's a great line from The Simpsons. I can't remember the episode of the season. It was Sideshow Bob, and he said, deep down, he said, your moral obligation makes you vote Democrat, which is our version of the Liberals. But deep down, you want a ruler to lower taxes, brutalize criminals, and rule you like a king. But you're moral, you're on the surface, everyone wants to pretend and think to themselves, well, wouldn't it be great if we had this beautiful, handsome leader who loves everybody.
He's got great socks.
He's got great socks.
That's
He
the best
makes
thing I can say
everybody
about him.
feel
He's got
so
great socks.
Wonderful. There's a reason the Liberals want to lower the voting age from 18 to 16 because, as Winston Churchill said, if you are young and you are not a Liberal, you have no heart. If you are old and not a conservative, you have no brain.
And he also said that democracy is the worst of the best of the worst.
Well, so let's pick up on that, because that seems to me where we are going in the political discourse right now. It seems to me with the Trumpism and we have elections going on in the U.S. It seems to me that our democracy is now becoming perverted in such a way that it's a race to the bottom. Donald Trump is the perfect example of, look, if you can find the lowest common denominator, Hillary Clinton called them deplorables, and you find a way that everyone can say, it's not your fault. You know what, Albertans, it's not your fault. It's those damn Ontario people. It's otherism. Otherism is a political discourse that speaks to, if you can rally people to say, we are doing the right thing, we just need a better government, and then point your fingers out at other people, that is otherism. I think this Prime Minister is fantastic at that, and I think that that's the way that the discourse, Trump is the best at this. You know what, everyone else is perfectly fine. I'm a billionaire, but you know, if it wasn't for these governments, we would all be doing well. How about this, Dan? I would say that the liberal ideal of having your government tax appropriately, not too much, but appropriate amount, to allow the redistribution of wealth in a way that everyone does fairly similar, is a different discourse than where you say, let's just let the market reign. When the market reigns and we have right-wing governments go full bore, the very wealthiest do the very best. Mm-hmm. So how do we have a serious debate where we're going to be able to have everyone do well, but then also have, what about the poor people? Like Albertans right now, we're falling into the have-not. So how do we redistribute wealth in a way and use the federal and provincial governments to allow that to happen?
As much as people don't want to think and as much as people don't want to believe, trickle-down economics absolutely works. Fight me on it. I don't care. I'll talk to every single one of you. Trickle-down economics work. When you lower corporate taxes and you make it available for businesses to come in and operate within a province, they create jobs. What do those jobs create? They create a massive amount of wealth. Look at our downtown. Businesses and, corporations don't want to operate within Alberta oil and gas because it's cheaper to run in Saskatchewan. They don't want to operate in Alberta. So what happens to downtown Calgary? All of the restaurants close because there's nobody downtown, because there's no offices downtown, because there's no businesses in the province. It is called trickle-down economics. It does work as much as you think it doesn't, because you hate Reagan because he ignored the AIDS crisis or whatever have you. The province's most successful years were run on a trickle-down economic corporate tax break system under Ralph Klein. As much as you people, some of you don't want to fucking believe and hate to admit it, but every single one of this person watching this video got a $386 or $300 and some dollar gift from the government because there's so much goddamn money in this province, run by a proper politician named Ralph goddamn Klein. I don't care if he was an alcoholic. He did the right thing.
So, and fair enough. And
Yeah,
so,
good point.
so,
You know how rich this province was? We all got money back.
Yeah.
but Ralph Klein. So let's drill back and get into that, because
Yeah.
I think that does lead into where we are right now. We are in a desperate situation in Alberta right now because after Ralph Klein had his time, everyone took that Heritage Trust Fund and used that as their own personal ATM. And so now that's gone. So as much as Ralph Klein had in his mind the idea that we need to save for the future, this is similar to, I can't remember if it's Norway or there's a Nordic state that developed their oil and gas similar, Norway?
Yeah.
Similar production as Calgary or Alberta. And if you look now at what those revenues that they've done, where they followed the path of Ralph Klein, and so today those dollars, they're almost self-sufficient on the basis of those dollars, rather than having spent them and trying to replenish the coffers now.
Oh, you mean like the psychotic idea of fiscal and financial responsibility?
That's right.
That wouldn't
Wow, what a
necessarily-
fucking thought.
I don't believe that's Norway, just to clarify, 'cause, Norway's oil and gas is run by their government.
Right.
It's all union work and federally regulated, like the NDP wanted to do here. But
Going back to what you said about Trump, love him or hate him, yeah, he's, the whole thing is that if you go back in history, first thing that JT did, or Prime Minister Puss in Boots did, was piss off the leader of the free world by not thinking that the guy actually watches TV. But so that he was put on notice at that point, and then you got Miss Christine Freeland running around, trying to patch together a NAFTA agreement, or the NAFTA 2.0 or whatever the hell it's called now, and that is already dead in the water. It's not going anywhere. We're stuck between a rock and a hard place because of the Huawei representative, or what's her CFO, Meng Wanzhou, yeah, from Huawei. So she's still sitting in under confinement in her palace in Vancouver, and states are kind of going, well, we're going to go through due process and extradite her, sometime in 2022 or whatever the hell they get to it. Meanwhile, we're getting our ass kicked by China. But this week, again, if our leader had one love in a fingernail of country than that man has for his and protecting his country and his country's interest, I would be giddy. I would, and the fact now that he's gone to war in the tariff, charging tariffs on all the Chinese imports. Now they got the two biggest world economies going to war on tariffs or on trade, and so since our big brother gets a nosebleed on this, we get the flu.
So what do you think Canada should do in terms of activating? Should they participate in that trade war? Is that,
well,
would
we're
that show-
already getting our ass kicked on
Right.
it. I mean, they're already banning pork and canola products.
sit back, Sit back, sit in the pocket, do a little rope-a-dope, let China and America punch themselves stupid, and then when they hate each other, China's going to say, well, we need someone to buy all of our shit. And we'll be like, we'll buy your shit. And USA is going to be like, someone needs to sell us some shit. We'll be like, we'll sell you some shit. Fucking sit in the pocket, let them destroy themselves, and then we come out on top. Fuck USA, fuck Trump, fuck China, fuck Chairman Mao or whoever the fuck's running that shithole nowadays.
So what about this? Let's bring it home to Alberta. So it's wonderful to watch this battle happen in front of us.
Yeah.
We do have a voice. So Alberta has this oil sand oil ready to go to market. Currently, our only option is to send it down to Trump, and we know that Trump and Trudeau don't, necessarily get along great. So the whole idea is, how do we get this stuff to China? Let's talk about that. How do we get the oil reserves over there, and should we, is another question. And then I'm top of mind on this one today, this week. In terms of the pipeline.
Yeah.
And getting this pipeline built. I've been to a couple events this week, and it does seem as though there is really a lot of Prime Minister Trudeau has already counted the monies that are coming through the pipeline, and he's already spending it. Right, so it's already being budgeted through. So I think it's going to happen. And if it doesn't, there's going to be a major correction that our books have to do and all that. So what do we do? And what about this? I want this thought. What about a refinery? Should we have another big refinery in Alberta?
Absolutely.
Why don't we?
Absolutely, because they'd allow it to go through the pipeline in BC. Refined gasoline.
We send all of the best paper in the entire world comes out of Indonesia. They make the best pulp, and all that pulp and paper comes from Canadian trees. The best oil and gas comes out of Canada, but it's refined in Houston. And we buy paper back at a premium, we buy oil and gas back at a premium. Northern Saskatchewan is the second largest uranium deposits in the entire world. Why we aren't developing nuclear gas plants and refining our own oil and making our own paper is beyond me. We have this image that we want to uphold, that we're Canada and we love everybody and we're everybody's best friend and we
love the environment.
We don't want to hurt the environment.
Which we do.
Well, meanwhile, everybody's taking a piece out of our pie and we're the ones left holding the empty bag.
That seems outrageous.
Environment by over-regulating.
Yeah, like
business.
If this was any other industry, if it was logging, Basic Commerce 101 says, don't send your raw logs to another country to get turned into. Take those raw logs, turn them into lumber. Do that and send out lumber, and then turn the lumber into houses and have finished products.
You cut down the trees, and you send it away, and then you buy it back as paper, and then you don't have the image of smokestacks pumping out steam, so the environmentalists don't get all pissy with their fucking hairy armpits and their unshaved legs.
I like to make a point here, and I'll tell you, I did 4 seasons in British Columbia planting trees.
Me too. 3.
I planted more trees than our Prime Minister could. Well, I don't think he's planted a tree in his life, and he's out there crying about the global warming and the greenhouse gas effects. Well, it's science. Back in grade 9 science, we learned about something called photosynthesis. All right, the more vegetation you have, they eat CO2. All right, that's why they feed, and and they emit oxygen, which is what is it? A percentage of our air that we breathe. Do the math. Science works. Plant a tree. I don't care. You know what I mean? It's like, you've been there.
Of course.
Yeah. So it's like we're fighting battles on the wrong fronts. Instead of being worried about global emissions or whatever, how about let's take that big thing that they got now. They're cleaning the oceans now, getting the plastic out of the oceans, right? Real pollution. Instead of banging on Fort McMurray for 2% of Canada's global emission. Like, you know, what the fuck?
Easy target. It's an easy target. You know what plastic clamshells for your strawberries do? Fuck all. They just sit there. And it's a nice picture and it looks bad. But do you know what you know what a tar-covered seal does on the front page of a newspaper?
Oh,
Sells fucking subscriptions.
Oh, yeah.
A tar-covered seal is way more sad than a piece of plastic sitting on a hill.
so is a mature, skinny polar bear that decided, instead of just blopping into the ocean and drowning, decided to die on an ice floe because it's too old to catch food. Right? You know, and all of a sudden it's like,
Take this,
you know, like...
take this, call it that.
Right, exactly. Yeah, you can paint anything, any kind of picture you want, you know, like...
One last thing I got to bring up. You see that twat waffle JT, he goes out and he fills the sandbags.
He filled one.
Did he?
And then he has his older kid standing there like he's interested, and his little kid's
they
like...
They got all these volunteers filling sandbags trying to save the fucking community. And he says, oh, guys, I gotta fill a sandbag. Gotta get that selfie for Instagram. So they shut down. They fucking booed out all these volunteers because no one can be around JT and his family. Gets the photo op.
His little kid was...
How many bags could have been filled while he was getting his selfie for Instagram?
His little kid
so
was
his
more...
buddies could be like,
Did you see his youngest son?
Social media.
Did you see his youngest son? He was more interested in eating his own snot than fucking filling a sandbag. Oh yeah, he's like, just make it show on yourself. Just, you know, come on.
Crab apple don't fall from the tree.
Yeah, or the older tree. Anyway,
Well, thanks very much. We're heading into into the summer season. We got some good election fodder coming up, and looking forward to keeping the discussion going.
absolutely.
Thanks very much, gentlemen.
Absolutely. Thanks, Lee.
Thanks, Lee.
Tony.
Hey, this is Tony Tattoo coming at you out of Kildares Pub in the deep southwest of Calgary, Alberta, Canada. This is Bar Talk. And we've been waiting quite a while to get my bro here, Rich, on the show, and today he shows up and he's like, "Hey, I'm ready to roll." So Rich is a firefighter, or an ex-firefighter, and knows his stuff. You know, when it comes to safety, we both have robust conversations about health and safety, and also he is a carpenter, and most importantly, a finishing carpenter. So he's a specialist. So anyway, we're just going to discuss a few things of what's on Rich's mind. So Rich, what comes to your mind right away?
Well, it's what we're going to have to put up with for the next 5 months till the election.
Well, I just hope that our Prime Minister Puss in Boots, I just hope he keeps his hands off the controls for enough time for Canada to speak out and
Problem.
as we got a blue wave going across Canada right now, as we know.
Oh, do we ever get the paintbrushes out?
Absolutely right.
That's the problem. Is he has his hand on the power right now.
Yeah.
And being an ex-firefighter, and a few weeks ago with the flooding in Ontario and Quebec,
Right. Yeah.
he shows up at an area where there's sandbagging, and he stops the entire process for 2.5, 3 hours. So
Yeah, in a critical area.
Yeah, in a critical area where they're trying to save houses. And I don't know if you've seen the video, but there was one of the volunteers
I saw it,
stops him and said, "Listen, you're coming here, you say you're helping, you stopped us, we haven't been able to bag anything for 2.5 hours while you're security, and you get your photo op," and he starts to argue with him, saying, "Oh, my sons and I are here helping bag sand."
Yeah, and it
Well,
sounds
for the-
like, first of all, the older son is like, he's like almost embarrassed to be there, and the younger one's just like, digging fucking gold out of his face and eating it. It's like,
Well, look where he comes from, right? So,
right?
you got this situation here. And I give credit to the guy that started arguing with him. And he shot him down, and the drama teacher couldn't even deflect any kind of emotion into this problem. He just
No.
kept a monotone, oh.
Yeah, his usual word salad.
Yeah, we're here to help, and look at me, and whatnot. And at the end of the conversation, he didn't even realize where he was, what he was doing, or what he was causing, or what, even more importantly, he was saying and doing.
He filled a half a sandbag.
Okay.
Oh, come on, that's something.
Well, it was probably the first productive thing he's ever done in his life.
He might have got a callus, Yeah.
So I don't know if most people caught this, but at the end of the conversation, and I mean, the guy volunteering for the sandbags owned him in the argument.
Oh, absolutely.
Which was fantastic.
Yeah.
But he looked at him, he says, "You're not being very friendly and neighborly right now.
Oh, yeah. Right.
The leader of our country is looking at a volunteer working his ass off, filling sandbags and stacking sand walls to save his community and his neighbors. And he's saying he's not being very friendly and he's not being very community oriented.
That's really indicative of how far out this guy is. I mean, it has no clue what he's doing. Like that's obvious to everybody, I think. That,
I mean,
you got no clue.
And a drama teacher, like he can't even act the part. That's the problem.
Exactly.
He's trained to act, he can't act, and
Well, the reason being is that right now his world's becoming unglued. You know, he used to be like Teflon Justin, and now it's like Velcro Justin. Everything that's getting thrown at him right now is sticking, right?
So
the guy can't do anything right, can't say anything right, and you know what? Just keep doing that. You know, because
keep it up.
Yeah, exactly. Great job. Okay.
Dig that hole.
That's right. And what else you got going on?
Then the other day,
Yeah.
this shit come up about the gun control.
Oh, gun control. Yeah.
They're trying to pass a bill to have a mandatory legal seizure of legal firearms.
Yeah.
Okay,
Well,
I thought it was, you can't believe everything you see on Facebook and whatnot, but then they're arguing about it in the House Commons the other day.
when you look at history, Rich, all right, how did the communists come into power in Russia?
How do you have a...
That's one of the
how do you
first things
start
they
a-
did was they seized everybody's
Disarm the
weapons,
masses.
disarm the
Control
masses.
the money, disarm the masses.
That's right. And then nobody has a way of protecting themselves against the state.
I've been a gun owner for all my life.
Me too. Although I don't own one now, but I'm planning on one.
I have a PAL, I have a restricted PAL, which is a license to possess and own firearms and ammunition.
Yeah.
I've had that for 30 years.
And you're a responsible gun owner.
Responsible gun owner, my guns are locked up, locked away, safely put away.
Yeah.
And never used in a manner that they should never be, and they never will be.
My old man told me, never shoot at anything you don't intend to eat.
Very good.
Yeah.
Never will.
Yeah.
No,
So
unless it's in
small rodents are they're safe.
I mean, unless it's a self-defense and a grizzly bear's attacking you or a cougar's attacking you, that's a little different story.
It is.
But that mantra your father told you, I mean, we all should live by.
And he was a good steward of the land. He was an actual hunting guide and a good steward of the environment and of the land.
If they did that, let's just hypothetically say they took everybody's legal guns.
Yeah.
They haven't done a thing to stop problems with firearms. It's not the legal gun owners, it's the illegal gun owners.
Right.
That don't go by the law.
Right.
Also, if he hypothetically tried to do this, it could never, ever possibly work. Because
all the bad guys would have the guns.
Yeah, but also most of the long guns in Canada are not registered. There's no way to trace them. There's no way to find them. So you say, okay, we're coming by Thursday afternoon, we're going to take all your guns out of your house. We're going to take your grandfather's gun, your father's gun, your guns, and we're going to take them and destroy them.
Right.
Not only their monetary value, but your heritage.
And do you actually think they get destroyed?
Yeah.
No, they actually end up in the system somewhere.
Do you think they're actually going to hand them over when there's no trace of them?
No.
So let's say hypothetically,
not anybody in their right mind.
They turned around and they did this.
Yeah.
It's not going to be effective because everybody is going to take them out in their backyard, pack them in oil and bury them.
Yeah.
And it's not going to accomplish anything. So why even bother try to do this? It can't be done. It's like the same as the States. You cannot shut down the gun problem in the States because it's so deeply inherent in their society.
Well,
you'll never get rid of it.
I know that through personal experience, my partner and I did a lot of work in Alabama. And that's an extreme. That's an extreme state of you can own anything you want in Alabama. You can own a tank. You can own a mortar. You can own everything except a nuke in Alabama. And there's always this. And I don't liken it to Canada or Alberta because Alberta is basically considered, Alberta, Saskatchewan, kind of considered the redneck province of of Canada. I mean,
Quite proud of that.
absolutely. Right now, I got one of the reddest necks ever because I'm part native. And so we go to Alabama, and it's just like it is spooky. The violent undercurrent. It's just like it's like people ask me, you know, what's it like going to Alabama, and it's like the keys of the piano. There's black and white. There's no gray. And one side of the tracks is one side of the tracks, and the other side of the tracks, the other side of the tracks. You stay on yours, I'll stay on mine. Everybody's happy. You cross over, and it's like back to the 60s, 50s, 40s. But there's such an undercurrent of. We have friends down there, acquaintances. You know, like the wife of the guy that she's got a nice little pink freaking gun in her purse, and that'll take you out in 2 seconds. And she knows how to use it.
Oh, absolutely, and no qualms about using it.
So there is the extreme, but
The thing with it is, okay, well, the gun thing really got my nerve standing on end because, yeah, okay, I'm a gun owner, I'm a hunter, but I'm a responsible gun owner,
yeah,
ethical hunter, yada, yada, yada.
right,
They're going to take all that away. They're going to take every outfitting company, every hunting lodge, everything up, fly in, fly out camps, all out of business. All the gun ranges out of business.
right,
Now, also take people's sport and recreation away from them and the right to own firearms. Okay?
Exactly, yeah.
And take, like I said, your grandfather's gun, your great-grandfather's gun, your heritage away
right.
from you.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. But the real point I'm trying to get at here at the end of the day is I think what he's doing, and we're going to have to put up with this for the next 4 to 5 months, he's going to grasp at every straw he can. Today is guns, tomorrow will be something else, tomorrow will be something else.
Yeah.
Trying to buy votes that he's, satisfying everybody.
But thank God he's too stupid. He keeps putting his foot in it every fucking week. So it's like, just keep doing it, man.
Let him.
Keep doing your great job.
That'll get him not elected.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is what we ultimately want. However, what damage is he going to do between now and then?
Yeah, well, that's something that's the reason why you have an opposition party, and they're the watchdog right now.
They're in the fight of their life.
So Andrew Scheer,
Good luck, sir.
watch that dog.
Good luck, sir.
Yeah, Michelle Rempel.
Yep.
She's Calgary. Man, I love watching that chick in action. She just shreds that guy. She'll get up and just shred their party, and and there's nothing anybody can come back with her. You're extremely intelligent. I'm a big fan. Michelle Rempel from Calgary. Yeah, man. It's awesome.
Yeah, I don't know. The man, he's so stupid that he scares me.
Yeah, well,
Because you see him in actual life, in simple little confrontations with, a volunteer, and he can't even hold his ground, even though he was in the wrong.
He's
trying to do sneaky little. Says
Little
one
side
thing
deals.
and do the other.
Yeah.
Last night I was they're looking at buying the F-35 fighter jet now,
right.
right?
Yeah.
Which is built in the States, and I seen it last night. Trudeau, 2017. We will not buy the
F-35.
F-35 because of this and this and this, and I stand strong on this, and that's how it's going to be. 2 years later, we're buying the F-35.
I know.
He said it last night.
Yeah.
National TV.
Exactly. It was big news. Yeah, he's
A wet noodle.
yeah at bare minimum.
And how long is it going to take to fix it after he's gone?
About a year and a half, like usual. Anyway, I'll tell you what, Rich, thank you for
Pleasure.
coming on, and you know
you.
what, a great robust discussion. I hope to have you on again.
Anytime.
This is Bar Talk, and we'll see you next time.
See you now.
Hey, this is Tony Tattoo, and that's our show for today. Now, we have 48 subscribers to our YouTube show, so basically tell your friends. I mean, it's growing. People are getting excited. Tell your friends to subscribe to our show on YouTube, and also join us for the conversation on Facebook, which we are now on, Twitter and Instagram. And just remember, just be nice to everybody, and keep it between the ditches, and Randy Crow.